Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go racing at Bristol Motor Speedway, one of my most dominant tracks of the NASCAR Heat Career Mode. So very excited to potentially get win number 5 on the season today. But before we kick things off, we start today with the last large announcement of the season for silly season, and it is Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmie Johnson starting a Cup Series team next season. So it's a collaboration between Dale and Jimmie, and they will be fielding the number 88 Exalta Chevy. So 88 goes from Hendrick now to this new team, and it will be driven by William Byron. And here is the scheme that William Byron will be driving next season in the career mode, made by Renato, of course, based off of Justin Allgaier's, I believe, 2017 Brandt paint scheme it was. Very excited to see how it looks actually in the game. But there you have the last large silly season announcement of the season. And if you guys like what you see there for that, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys' opinion is. You've been wondering where Williams been going, and now you finally know where he will be going here in the career mode. So we jump through, though, into the first race of the weekend here at Bristol in the Truck Series, where we had subscriber Dylan Fox in the truck for us in that number 77. He qualified P3, so very strong qualifying effort from Dylan as we got this race underway, as he goes down into turn 1 on the inside there of Hailie Deegan as it comes through out of turn 2, going down this backstretch side by side for second place. As you can see right off the bat, Stuart Friesen driving away as they exit turn 4. He would not unfortunately be able to clear Hailie as it came through out of the corner. As you guys know, Hailie Deegan will be moving up next season into the Stewart-Haas Racing team in that number 98 car. So as we go down the back straightaway, though, he would finally get clear of her, and then he would try to run down Stuart Friesen here, but he was really struggling to close that gap to Stuart. He did close a little bit, but not enough now as he came through. This was past the midway point of this race now, and he just kind of continued to run in that second position. So we come through now towards the final moments of this race here, starting the final lap as Dylan Fox dives into turn 1 and 2, trying to close in on Stuart Friesen as he comes through down the back straightaway for the final time. His only chance is going to be trying to move Friesen. He sends it into turn 3, but he was not close enough to be able to do anything, so he's going to come through and finish in the runner-up position here of second place in the UNOH 200 at Bristol Motor Speedway. So a solid effort, though, from Dylan Fox. Of course, we've had a great rookie season as an owner. Very excited to see what we can do next season as well in the Truck Series. I won't be owning an Xfinity team next season, I can tell you guys that right now, but obviously we're going to Hendrick Motorsports. I can tell you guys that we will be driving the star car, quote-unquote, for JRM at times. So we come through, though, to the playoff race now for the Xfinity Series in Bristol, where we actually had, for the star car in the number 20, which is actually in the playoffs, we had Ty Gibbs in the car here for the Food City 300 there. As you see, Jeremy Clements failed pre-race inspection. He would have to start at the back, along with, I think I said, Jesse Little there. As you see, Ty Gibbs in the number 20 car. He will get underway on that outside here, right behind his teammate of Brandon Jones. Now, as he came through out of turn 2, Daniel Hemrick right up the inside, down this back straightaway into turn 3. Now, as this would be Ty's very first Xfinity Series race, of course. Now, as he comes through out of turn 4, there you see it was right now Justin Haley battling for the lead now with the 22 of Austin Cindric. Now, as Ty goes 3 wide there on the outside of turn 2, makes it work, still side by side with Brandon Jones, and he would unfortunately not be able to complete the pass. He would get back down to the bottom, to the point where Ross Chastain actually got into the left rear of Ty and moved him up the track now as it goes down into turn 3, and he actually tried to get a little bit of payback on Ross and get into the back of him, but it did not quite work out now as it comes through down into turn 1 again, up the inside of Hemrick, who's now into the outside wall after a little bit of contact. He goes sideways now as we get a little bit looser. You saw Ty, so he's still battling it out now with Daniel Hemrick, and he would continue, though, on the inside, passing Hemrick. Then he would get up the inside of Chastain, eventually into turn 1, who actually he made a little bit of contact with, and then he gets up the inside of Ryan Sieg as well as he goes down this back straightaway. When you can see the front, or that front pack of cars was just way too far out to even think about running down for Ty. So after he got past Sieg, it was just bringing the car home at this point here as he came through into turn 3 now in the final moments of this race. So he comes through out of turn 4, and it would be a P8 finish for Ty Gibbs in the Food City 300 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. So, I mean, for his first ever race, fairly solid now as Austin Cindric picked up the victory. He will be a Cup Series rookie next season along with Zane Smith and Todd Gilliland. Very excited to see that rookie class battle it out now. As we know, this season Chase Briscoe will be Rookie of the Year, and now next season it's going to be interesting to see, as I believe Cindric will definitely be a strong competitor, but Zane Smith, I've kind of emphasized, it definitely looks like he's going to be in the strongest position with that McLaren team now as we get ready to go here for the Cup Series at Bristol. Now, I look forward to coming coming to this track every single time, so my confidence was pretty high here. Now, as we won this race earlier this season, so like I said, I mean, every right to have high confidence in this one. So we come to, though, on our qualifying lap, the goal was to hit a 15.793, and we go down into turn 3. You see me running up a little bit higher on the track where I feel more comfortable, so we come through out of turn 4, coming through to the line. We barely beat the goal with a 15.723 and get P7 here in Bristol, qualifying it for the Bass Pro Shops night race. Now, as you see, Bubba Wallace up there in P5, a very solid effort from him. Chase Elliott finds himself on pole. Daniel Suarez in P9. Austin Dillon P6 now. So it's going to be an interesting race, which is indeed, as you guys know, a cutoff race here for the first round of the playoffs. So a very important race, and Eric Almirola is down in P38 for the start of this one. Here is the playoff grid coming into tonight's race. Kyle Busch, one last episode to put him through now to the next round. But you see Matt DiBenedetto, 7 points below the cut line. Briscoe, 14. Almirola, 15. And Ryan Blaney, 27. So really, Blaney's in the worst spot, of course. Not in a necessarily must-win, but realistically, he does have to win this race. But there you see, like I said, DiBenedetto still has a chance. So does Briscoe and Almirola now, as we're going to get ready to take the green flag here in Bristol. Christopher Bell, a playoff contender, had to go to the back of the field after failing technical inspection, so that's something to definitely keep an eye on here, as that could put him in jeopardy. Solid first round, guys. Let's go out and have a good one tonight and hopefully pick up the win. Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. on the front row now as the green flag is out, and the round of 16 elimination race is underway here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Chase Elliott looking to pick up his third win on the season at a track that he's always been relatively solid at now. He's contended for wins here in real life, most recently in the 2020 season with Joey Logano now, as they had late race contact, of course, and that ended his chances of victory. And same for Joey Logano now as we go down into turn 1 after completing this first and opening lap. Daniel Suarez with a little bit of pressure right behind me in that number 99 Trackhouse car. Like I've said a few times, very excited to see what that team can do next season in our career mode, as well as actually in real life in the 2021 season now, as we're battling here with the 2012 Cup Series champion of Brad Keselowski, who's definitely been what I consider a top 5 driver this season here in the career mode. We know he's going to be a factor now, as Eric Jones, another driver that I've really been keeping an eye on lately. I think out of all the drivers this season that haven't won a race in the career mode, Eric Jones, hands down, has been the best. He's definitely had a car capable of winning. He just hasn't been able to actually get there when it matters the most now, as we come through passing Kevin Harvick now, as we came through to move up into the 7th position. Alex Bowman had moved up into P9 behind us, and I would now eventually on lap 10 finally jump up into what my preferred lane is here at Bristol Motor Speedway, up towards the top as we came through out of turn 2. Truex, he had actually driven away with the lead. Elliott had dropped down to P5. Hamlin was second. Bubba Wallace up in P3, putting some pressure actually on Denny Hamlin here, as we were now making this outside lane starting to work here as we go into turn 3, now passing Keselowski, and now trying to get a run on that 9 car of Chase Elliott to move up into P5. And sure enough, we just have a huge run off the corner, just kind of like we expected it to work out. We always seem to start off slow here at Bristol, but once we can get that high line working, we just move through the field, and that was exactly what was happening here as we now move up into P5 behind that number 3 of Austin Dillon. Here's where we're easily going to get to the outside of him as well, but then the caution actually comes out for the first time here tonight in the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway. So P5 at the time of the caution, nobody coming into the pit lane, but you see here that it's Eric Almirola coming into the pit lane. I don't think he's actually the reason for the caution, but he is coming into the pit lane. But it does look like up ahead that was maybe indeed the reason for the caution was Eric Almirola, as I saw some smoke coming out of his car. So that could be the end of the line for Eric Almirola now as we get back underway. But you see right there, no dot on the pit lane. So Eric Almirola is still in this race. So it's definitely not over yet now as we go down into turn 1. Almirola less than 20 points below that cut line. His final chance to make it into the round of 12 in what will be his final season. And that number 10 car before Matt DiBenedetto takes over next season in the career mode. There's Bubba Wallace. He now drops down into the 4th position. Very happy to see him starting to put some performances together here now that the playoffs have gotten underway. And if only they had this performance in the regular season, what could have been now maybe a playoff contender from Bubba Wallace. And as we come through though out of turn 2, we got to the outside of him on lap 20, already approaching 10 laps to go here in stage 1. Truex once again driving away from Denny Hamlin. Austin Dillon having a good run there as they get very sideways on the exit of turn 4 and almost got into the side of Bubba. Maybe we did make some contact because he goes sideways. We're now 3 wide with him and Keselowski. Now as Brad moves through into P4, myself and Bubba kind of drop down a little bit now, as I was 5th, he was 6th. Keselowski would get to the inside of Austin Dillon a little bit later on, and I would follow through as well as we came to the lap 23, and then sure enough, through turns 3 and out of turn 4, we would be able to clear that 3 car of Austin Dillon, then run down the 2 car of Keselowski again, approaching now 5 laps to go in stage 1, and I just blow right on by the 2 cars. I do clip the outside wall. There you see a car up ahead, though, coming into the pit lane, a bunch of smoke pouring out of that number 37 of Ryan Preece as we exit the corner. Not fortunately or unfortunately not able to complete that pass, but finally on lap 27 into turn 3, we would be able to now officially pass Brad Keselowski and try to run down Denny Hamlin, and sure enough, with a couple laps to go here in stage 1, we now get to the inside of Denny Hamlin into turn 3 as Martin Truex Jr. He approaches the final lap of stage 1. He dominated this first stage after taking the lead from Chase Elliott there, a little bit sideways on the exit of the corner. We're still side by side with Hamlin as we start the final lap in stage 1, but I immediately see we could maybe use John Hunter Nemechek as a bit of a pick into turn 3 to hold Hamlin back, and sure enough, that's exactly what I do through turns 3 and 4. Truex wins stage 1, and we come through to finish second just over our teammate Denny Hamlin, as so far the Joe Gibbs Racing dominance of the playoffs continues. We're only into our 3rd race, but Joe Gibbs Racing has won the both first 2 playoff races, with Truex at Darlington, Kyle Busch most recently at Richmond, and now Martin Truex Jr. starts off the 3rd playoff race with a stage victory, as we're all going to come into the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires. There, as you see, Corey LaJoie, he's going to be staying out along with Eric Almirola, so a very interesting call there that will definitely not work in their favor, but Almirola at this point needs every single point he can get, and he's going to now do everything he can to get himself in position to get points. But you see, Martin Truex Jr., he had a terrible pit stop. He's not even inside the top 10, so we're now up into P3 and in perfect position to take the lead now as we are back underway for the start of the 2nd stage as we go down into turn 1. 28 laps here in stage 2, already passing the 10 of Eric Almirola. Chase Elliott just behind us, who's still up in the mix, but as we go down into turn 3, I get up the inside now of the 32 of LaJoie, and to the front we go as we exit turn 4 and take over the lead now with 27 laps remaining here in stage 2. Chase Elliott moves through in the 2nd. Bubba Wallace up into P3. Hamlin just back there in, I think, 4th place as we go down into the corner. And I saw, when I looked back there for a brief moment, Eric Jones. He's now coming into the picture. It's not Hamlin that was in 4th. It's Jones. Chase Briscoe up in the mix as well. But we come through now a little bit later on lap 9. Eric Jones, he had moved up into 2nd place here. So Jones continues to just carry the strong performances. It's really unfortunate that he didn't pick up really any stage wins or race wins in the regular season, because he's going to be really playing catch-up the whole playoffs. So we come through on lap 13, though, now running down some lap traffic. There you see Corey LaJoie, who was on the front row, less than 15 laps ago, and now we're putting him a lap down now as Hamlin. He had moved into P3 behind Eric Jones. Ross Chastain, he was all the way down here in P37 as we go down this back straightaway. So I was trying to run down Chastain there as we get into the back a little bit of Chad Fincham, and you can just see this whole group of cars. Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney all in here, Joey Logano even. Now as Ryan Blaney, Eric Almirola both back here, and they really are, after this stage, going to be in a must-win situation for sure, as Ross Chastain, he was moving his way through the field very quickly, so I was kind of confused as to why he was down in 37th in the first place, because he was actually showing a tremendous amount of speed there. In that number 42, as we are nearly into the back of the 22 of Logano, we did definitely get into him a little bit now. As you guys know, he is a rival, and this is the first time of him being a rival that we will race around him now. As we got into the back of him, now some contact there on the side of Logano into turn 1, but fortunately he does not give us a terribly hard time, and we get by him without any problems. As I'm confident, of course, we can make it into the Final Four this season, but our biggest obstacle is going to be that 22 of Joey Logano, considering he is now a rival. And now we came through, though, to lap 22, coming to lap 23, they're sideways out of turn 2, and fortunately we hang on to it, but nearly give up the lead to our Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Denny Hamlin, who is now right on our back bumper. A big save that was, now, as I was trying to put a lap down on Christopher Bell here, our affiliate teammate, who's fighting to remain in the playoffs, but he's having a very rough night so far, running P29, and I wanted to keep him on the lead lap to give him a bit of a break, but Hamlin was right there pouncing on the opportunity to try and beat me for the stage. So we go 3 wide now with William, Byron, and Bell. So we passed Byron as he pulls out of it as we go into turn 3, and I really did not want to put Bell a lap down. Like I said, I wanted to keep him on the lead lap, but we pass him here out of the corner with 4 laps to go, and we come through to 3 laps to go. We had passed Quinn Helf with no problem at all, and then we would put Ryan Blaney a lap down as we exit turn 4, coming to 2 laps to go now in stage 2. So now passes 66 as well of Timmy Hill, who's having a pretty solid run. He's beating a couple playoff contenders right now as we go down into turn 3, approaching the final lap here in stage 2. Brendan Gaughan up here in P24. Can we put him a lap down? We're closing in very quickly as we start the final lap of the stage. Kyle Busch and Ross Chastain, they managed to get actually through the traffic and stay in front of us here in the second stage, as we were right up with them, trying to put them a lap down a little bit earlier in that second stage, about halfway through. But we come through out of turn 4 to pick up the stage 2 victory and get another playoff point. But we really expect nothing less at Bristol, which is just a track that we always run so well at now, as Denny Hamlin, Eric Jones, Kyle Larson in the 43, and Martin Truex Jr. round out our top 5, and Austin Dillon rounds out the top 10. Bubba Wallace P6, Alex Bowman P7. So Bowman doing everything he really needs to do. He's been kind of consistent all season, enough to make it into the playoffs, and now he's being consistent enough to make it into the next round, as now we got Ryan Blaney and Eric Almirola, who are going to be trapped a lap down. So unless something crazy happens, they can be pretty much written off of any chances of making it into the next round now, as we get ready to go green for the third and final stage. Good car, guys. I mean, I wouldn't really change anything. I think we got speed to win the race, especially if lap traffic is an issue. Lap traffic always plays a role at these Bristol races, as we would actually lose a position on the pit lane to our teammate Denny Hamlin now. So we're going to get ready to restart here in P2 for the start of stage 3, which is now underway, coming through to lap 66. Hamlin and myself on this front row. Behind us, we got the 43 of Larson and the 88 of Eric Jones. Now as we come through out of turn 2, Hamlin already clear. That was a very easy pass for him to complete as we go down into the corner, sending it in pretty deep there into turn 3, as Larson actually is going to attempt to get up my inside as we come through, completing the first and opening lap here of the third and final stage. But Hamlin, he makes that bottom work very well, and Larson's actually going to get side by side with me now as we go down into turn 3. So we're under attack from the 43, and then we got Bubba Wallace just behind us in P4, who's had a very competitive night here in Bristol now, as we're continuing in this battle as we came through to lap 69. Nice, and we were still side by side with the 43 of Kyle Larson, our future teammate. So I was trying to race him with as much respect as possible here as we came through, doing my best though to clear Larson as we came through out of turn 4, seeing Hamlin drive away. But I know I'm faster up top, so I couldn't really try the bottom, especially when Larson's holding on to the bottom. So I'm just doing everything I can to get clear of that 43 car. So we come through to lap 73, still in this side-by-side battle with Kyle Larson as we go down the backstretch, and we came through on lap 74 out of turn 4, and now I get to the outside wall there on the exit of the corner and allow Larson to nearly get clear into turn 1, but now we've damaged the right side of the car. Larson clears us out of turn 2 as we go down the back straight away. As we dive into turn 3, though, we get back up the outside of him as he though clears us through the center of the corner, but we fight back again on the exit of turn 4, coming through, and now on lap 77 finally able to clear the 43 of Kyle Larson as we came through turns 1 and 2. So we were now able to go and try to run down our teammate of Denny Hamlin there. So that was very nice to be able to complete that pass on the 43 of Kyle Larson. Now as the caution actually comes out with 48 laps to go, and now everybody coming to the pit lane. And I've had a history of making the wrong pit call here at Bristol in the past, so I was very concerned, and I remember every time I've made the wrong call, it was me doing 2 tires and getting the lead and dropping like a rock. So I decided to do 4 tires and then just fill the tank up here with fuel. I just put 2 cans of fuel in it because 4 tires, of course, won't take a long time anyway. So Tyler Reddick looks like he's actually the reason for the caution. Austin Dillon gains 4 positions on the pit lane, takes the lead. Hamlin second, myself third, Keselowski fourth, and Larson drops a few spots right behind me now as we are underway for what could be the final restart here of the round of 16 as we get through down towards turns 1. Austin Dillon very slow there off the restart now as we come through the center of turns 1 and 2, and I have to get out of the throttle quite a bit now. Keselowski nearly clear into turn 3, but we fight back up the inside of that 2 car of Keselowski. Now as Hamlin, he will be able to clear Austin Dillon into turn 1, retake the lead, just showing how strong that 11 car is. He went past him on the outside now as we come through out of turn 2, still side by side with Keselowski, and it looks like it was going to be another battle again like we had with that 43 of Larson, except this time we are going to lose even more ground to a driver like Hamlin as we have 2 cars in between us both. So we come through out of turn 2 on lap 85, same situation, or sorry, out of turn 4 on lap 85 now as we get into the back now of the 2 of Keselowski, trying to move him out of the way. He hits the outside wall, we barely get by him there as we go down into turn 3, all on me there, but I was a little bit frustrated. Now he's going to make a 3 wide out the inside, but we were able to stay ahead of him. But like I said, I was a little bit frustrated staying behind him, so now I actually get behind the 9 of Elliott, who I was now trapped behind, and Cole Custer was able to get up my inside, and so was the 43 of Larson. So now 39 laps to go, and we are just seeing our chances of this race win just fade away. There's a briefly got into the back of the 9 again into turn 3 now, but we finally would be able to fight up the inside of Elliott. A little bit of contact with him on lap 89 as we go into turn 3. He drifts up the track a little bit, but stays in front of that 2 of Keselowski as we exit turn 4 and re-enter the top 5 now as we get to the back of Larson again as we came through out of turn 4. Trying my best now to pass him as I nearly get into the outside wall, allowing Bubba Wallace now up my inside as things were just getting so frustrating at this point as the 11 car was now barely within my view, but we finally would fight back up the inside of Kyle Larson and pass him on the exit of turn 4, get up the inside of Bubba Wallace into turn 1, and now we're going to be able to pass him as well and move back up into the 4th position behind Cole Custer and Austin Dillon. Hamlin just doing everything he can to drive away. He was just hoping it would stay green at this point because I am so far behind, but I was still confident that with the lap traffic approaching that we would have a chance now as we would get this outside lane going once again, and I would get to the outside of Cole Custer, and we just blow right on by that 41 car of Cole Custer as we came through out of turn 4. So now up into P3, immediately attacking the 3 of Austin Dillon into turns 1 and 2, and we are also going to pass the Richard Childress driver, who's had a very solid day or solid night here in Bristol. Obviously, he missed the playoffs, but then we ran down lap traffic. Almirola having a couple terrible races here in this round of 16 as he runs 37th, which still baffles me because he's got a pretty solid rating here in the career mode. But we were closing the gap to Denny Hamlin, who was stuck right now behind a driver who's in a must-win situation of Ryan Blaney, and we would just continue running him down. We came through approaching lap 106, 20 laps to go here in Bristol, and we are now here to the right-hand side of our teammate of Hamlin, but Blaney, he was in my way, and we get out of the corner now, and we are now clear almost of Hamlin into turn 3, but can't quite make it work. And I see 2 cars up here, so I actually just get down behind Hamlin, and now we're just gonna have to time everything to the best of our abilities. But I just kind of got stuck following Hamlin here on this bottom as we came through on lap 110 with 16 to go, and now we have a chance to maybe look to the outside, but then Hamlin roughs up the 32 of LaJoie a little bit, so I have to get back down again behind Hamlin and just follow him through. And unfortunately, he's now starting to pull away as we came to 13 laps to go. So as the lap traffic started to fade, Hamlin was starting to open up that gap here in these final stages of this race, but I was doing everything I could to stick with Hamlin as he came through to 12 laps to go. Now as Bubba Wallace has issues behind us as he goes spinning through turns 3 and 4, and that's going to bring out the caution here in Bristol Motor Speedway. We were right on the back of the 11 of Hamlin, and if we could have been leading right there, that would have been an incredible opportunity, or if we could have just barely snuck into the lead before that crash happened. But very unfortunate for Bubba Wallace, who's had a great night, and now he is out. Ross Chastain actually out as well, 8 laps down, as we will get ready for what will likely be the final restart here of the round of 16. Myself and Hamlin on the front row, ready to duel it out for the victory, but we saw Hamlin definitely faster than me here as we get underway now with 9 laps to go here in the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway. Kyle Larson and Brad Keselowski just behind Chase Briscoe there in P6, doing what he needs to do to try and get in to that round of 12, but not sure if it's going to quite be enough here as we go down into turn 3 and 4. Trying my best to stick with Hamlin. We get a great center of the corner and exit, and now we're side by side with our teammate of Hamlin with 8 laps to go here in Bristol, and this would turn into a battle like we had earlier with Kyle Larson. It would just be a side-by-side battle now as we came through with just 6 laps to go, still battling it out side by side with Hamlin, and we have now pulled away from 3rd place here, so it was just down between myself and Denny at this point here as we continue side by side. But out of now turn 2 on lap 121, Hamlin gets clear of me into turn 3, and I send it in pretty deep into turn 3, trying to give it everything I got. Now to turn 4, we get right there to that right rear quarter panel, and now side by side again with Hamlin. We come through to now 3 laps to go, still side by side with Denny as we approach just the final 2 laps here in the Bristol night race now, as we will come through to barely lead the lap, but not the one that matters, of course. As we go into turn 1, we are clear right there, but obviously no chance to get down as I was drifting up the track. So Hamlin fights back up the inside into turn 3, approaching the final lap here in Bristol, giving everything we got now as we exit turn 4, still very close, even with Hamlin at the line as the white flag is in the air here, as there's no lap traffic involved. It's just a battle between myself and my teammate of Hamlin, who has the edge down the back straightaway into turn 3 for the final time here in Bristol Motor Speedway. We send it in deep as we come through out of turns 4, coming to the line. It's going to be a photo finish with Hamlin, but he barely gets us there by half a car length in Bristol, and Denny Hamlin wins the Bristol night race, and now it is a Joe Gibbs Racing sweep of the first round of the playoffs. Now, Kyle Busch won last episode in Richmond. Truex won the first race of the playoffs at Darlington. Hamlin wins tonight as we barely, ever so slightly lost that one in a photo finish now. As you saw the finishing order, and here is the playoff grid. Christopher Bell managed to get eliminated after coming into this race above the cut line. DiBenedetto makes it by 11. Briscoe out, as well as Almirola and Blaney. So Briscoe's rookie playoff run wasn't like he had hoped, but he only missed it by 15 points. Now, as you see, everybody else, though, of course, advanced now, as we're going to check out the playoff standings for the rest of the series. Now, for the trucks, obviously, we're doing very good there. 4 points above the cut line, and then the star car for Joe Gibbs Racing in Xfinity is 6 points above the cut line now. And now we're going to check out the Cup Series grid going in to the round of 12. We are 29 points above the cut line now as everything resets, as you guys know. So we're 29 points above the cut line here going into Las Vegas, a track that I'm pretty confident at. And then right now, it is Kevin Harvick, Matt DiBenedetto, Eric Jones, as well as Alex Bowman, all on the outside looking in. It could be quite the round with Talladega and the Roval, but as always, if you guys enjoyed, you do know what to do. Logano, unfortunately, still a rival, but before we end it, just want to say thank you to the Going Racing members of MJ, Aiden, Eric, Dylan, Joseph 9001, as well as RJ. So thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one where we start the round of 12 of the playoffs at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Have a great day, everybody.